I was very surprised at the choices. And let's just say I agreed with some of them and I didn't with other. With one I didn't necessarily agree with.
So excited for the season. Like I said, I just watched the first episode and it is so good. I mean, how are you feeling going into this season? Obviously, we had some shakeups, so things were a little different.
I was excited to have Heather back because we left on a good note with each other. Because I didn't end the last season very close to Gina and Emily, and that was it. Yeah. Two was left. So, but I knew I'd be fine.
Were you nervous at all going into this season?
No.
No,
I wasn't.
Yeah. And like you said, so you were very excited about Heather coming back and,
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. We had a lot of fun, especially in her last season, when we were in Ireland and all that sort of thing. We laughed a lot. So I was excited for it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously last January, Andy said it was time to give the show a reboot. So did you agree with him in letting go Kelly, Braunwyn, and Elizabeth? Were you surprised by that at all?
Oh, I was very surprised at the choices. And let's just say I agreed with some of them and I didn't with other. With one I didn't necessarily agree with. So, but it's all, it's all good. I mean, I'm actually very happy with the cast that we have right now and with this season. And I think that that we all kind of brought a little bit of a lighter season because last season was so dark.
Yeah. Can you say who you wish came back?
Well, I was friendly. Kelly and I are neighbors, so I felt bad for her. But I mean, she's doing well right now, so she's moving on and she's doing well. So
yeah, so the two of you still talk a lot. Do you talk to Braunwyn and Elizabeth at all?
Elizabeth will text sometimes, but Braunwyn, no.
Yeah.
No.
Not at all.
No, not at all. Because let me tell you, Noella used to be friends with her, who's a new girl on the show, and she told Noella that she did make up that I said that Gina's house was sad and depressing. So Braunwyn will not be hearing from me anytime soon.
Anytime soon, yeah. Were you ever nervous about not coming back for this season at all?
I mean, I think that each time you never know. Yeah. You don't know what people don't like. I mean, I'm glad that I did, and I'm grateful that I'm still on the show because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. And this season kicks off like you said. You, Emily, and Gina weren't that close, but it seems like the three of you kind of form a friendship. When cameras weren't rolling. So the first episode picks up. Emily dubs you guys the new Tres Amigas. I mean, are we going to see that kind of go through this whole season, or does that friendship kind of dissolve as the season goes along?
Well, I think you can kind of see it dissolve at the end of episode 1.
Right. Yeah.
Or probably. Yeah. It didn't last long.
It didn't last long. Not at all. Not at all. I mean, can you talk about a little bit about episode 1? We can kind of break this down a little bit because obviously Heather comes back and she has this friend Nicole that the two of you that you knew back in the day. I mean, why didn't you want to just tell Heather that you knew about the lawsuit?
Because I didn't know that it was the same Nicole.
Okay.
And I think you'll see more about that as the episodes go forward because we don't, I don't know what's exactly on them. But I knew a gal 16 years ago that looks nothing like Nicole James. I knew a Nicole Weiss. And, in my mind, I kept asking Heather, are you sure it's not Nicole Weiss? She said, no, it's not. You have the wrong girl. So, but it ended up being the same Nicole.
And then things just take from there. I mean, were you kind of surprised that Gina said something? The first episode ends with like a to be continued, so I don't really know exactly how it goes down, but were you surprised that Gina was the one that kind of stirred the pot in all of this?
Oh, absolutely. But because I was frustrated because I was trying to rack my brain in how I knew this gal Nicole, who said that she knew me because I only knew Nicole Weiss, and very briefly, by the way, like 16 years ago. So it was when my oldest was 4. She's a sophomore in college right now. So I was just trying to rack my brain, and I wrongfully mentioned it to Emily and Gina because I didn't think it could be the same girl.
Right.
Because in my mind, why would the Dubrows be friends with someone that they were involved in a lawsuit? Mm-hmm. And why would she be friends with him as well? But when I did find out it was her, in my mind, I'm not going to drudge up something that happened 20 years ago because clearly they've resolved it with each other. Mm-hmm. And when you confront someone or if you ask them something and you put it on camera, you're making it public to everybody. So no, I wasn't going to do that.
Right. Were you, so we see in the trailer that you do warn Heather to not trust Emily and Gina. You know, it seems like the two girls don't really take that the best way, but were you just trying to give Heather a warning? But it does seem like Heather and Gina kind of formed this friendship too.
Right. Well, as we did make a pact. I made a pact with Emily and Gina that if for some reason, crazy reason, that this is the same Nicole, we don't talk about it because we don't want to hurt people's businesses. And when I was at lunch with with Gina and Heather at Javier's, Heather excused herself to use the restroom and Gina said, "Oh, you got to tell her." It's like, what are you talking about? We made a promise. Mm-hmm. So I was concerned. I was concerned that Gina was going to say something. And so that was my way of warning Heather. It was just my way of warning her because I didn't want to bring it up. I'm not going to bring that up on camera.
Yeah. Were you jealous this season of Gina and Heather's friendship?
No.
Were you surprised that they became, I mean, by the judge of it, by the looks of it, that they do become friends? Are you surprised that they became friends?
No, I'm not. I mean, they have a New York connection and no, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, I'm super busy too. Like I'm running a company. We're filming a lot this season. And so anyone can be friends. I don't have time to waste on negative energy and stuff like that.
Yeah.